Hello guys, today let us look on how to solve a radical equations. Okay, let us just solve these two simple radicals. They are radicals equation because some of the terms in the equations, they are under a radical or they're under a square root. Okay, so now these questions, they normally carries 5 marks depending on the examiner. So let us solve the first one. You are given now the radical of what? Of x plus 10. This one is all under the square root, and then minus 4. This one is equals to x. Okay. There are things that you must take into consideration. The inverse operations or the opposite of a square root. So you just need to know all of these things. Okay, like we know that the inverse operation of subtraction, guys, it's what? It plus the inverse operation of multiplication, it what? It's divide. So now what is the inverse of a radical or of a square root? It is what? It is 1 over 2, right? Now the inverse of this one, um it has to be 1 over 3. Okay, so then let us try to solve them. You know that when we're solving equations, we just use the inverse of the other to get to the final answer. Okay, so then let's say now you're given this one, x plus 10 all under the square root minus 4 is equals to x. Okay, let us recall from my previous lessons. I said that the moment you see a negative constant or a positive constant, you can just right away shift it to the other side of the equal sign. So here you've got what? A negative 4. If you want to shift negative 4 to the other side, that means you must introduce what? The inverse of negative 4, which is what? Positive 4. So that means it's a plus 4. It's a plus 4 both side. Okay? So that, okay, let me put this one in bracket so that you don't get this step. So that this one, they do what? They cancel. So that means now you are left with the square root of what? X plus 10. It is equals to what? X x plus 4. Sorry guys, it is x plus 4. Okay, so now moving to the next step, we have to get rid of the square root. Okay, we have to get rid of the square root. So if it is a square root, what do you do? Remember, I say the inverse of a square root, it can be a half. Okay, so then that means here you have to what? You have to square both sides to remove the square root. You have to square both sides. We are given the square root, so we want to remove the square root. You know that a radical that doesn't have what we call the subscript or the coefficient up there, it's always power 2. It's just the square root. So that this power 2 will cancel what? The square root. Then now we are going to be left with x plus 10. It is equals to x plus 4 to the power of what? Of 2. Okay, I hope we are following. We just raise this one to the power of 2 to remove the square root, and then we apply the rules of solving equation. What you do on one side, you do it on the other side. Okay, so now let us get to the next step. So this one is going to be x plus 10. It is equals to let us recall, guys, 2 raised to the power of 2 is the same as 2 times what? Times 2. Okay, that means you multiply the base by itself according to the exponent. Okay, so that means here we have got x plus 4 raised to the power of 2. So it's the same thing as like you're saying x plus 4 multiplied by itself. How many times? 2 times. Okay, so then if we may proceed, I hope guys you are following the step. This is where we started. This is where we started, and then now we are in this step. Okay, so now we have to foil this one, or we have to expand the bracket. So it's going to be x multiplied by x. It is x squared, right? Then the very same x multiplied by 4, it is what? It's going to be 4x. Then 4x multiplied, 4 multiplied by x is going to be 4x. 4 times 4, guys, is going to be 16. So you've got x plus 10. We collect like terms here. 4x and 4x, they are like terms. So I'm going to say it's 4x. It's x squared plus 4 plus 4, it is 8x. And then plus 16. Okay, so now it makes a lot of sense. But then one side of the equal sign must be 0 so that it can become a trinomial, and then it's going to be easy to solve it. Again, you can pick up like terms. You can just rewrite this thing like this. You can take this x to the other side. You can take the 10 to the other side so that it becomes x squared plus 8x. And then since this x is positive here, going to the other side is going to be negative. Okay, it's minus x plus 16. This 10 is positive here, going to the other side is going to be negative. So this whole thing now is going to be equals to 0. So then you collect the like terms, or you simplify. 8x minus x is the same as you are saying 8 minus 1. So that means here it is plus 7 what? 7x. 16 minus 10, guys, it is a 4, if I'm not mistaken. No, sorry, it's not a 4, it's a 6. Where is my mate now? I think it's just left me. Okay, so now we have got a trinomial. X squared plus 7x plus 6 is equals to 0. Okay, so now you know when to solve the trinomial, we either adopt the quadratic formula or we use the factoring method. But then the way I see it, we can use the factor method, finding factors of 6 that multiply to 6 and add up to 7. You just open two brackets. All these brackets are going to be equals to 0. So the factors, that's going to be a 6, a positive 6, and a 1. Why am I saying it's a 6 and a 1? 6 times 1, guys, it's a 6. 6 plus 1, it's a 7. So these factors, they are true. So then if one bracket is equated to 0, we just assume that the one bracket is equals to 0 and the other bracket is equals to 0. So that means it's x plus 6 is equals to 0, or x plus 1 is equals to 0. So then to solve for x here, since 6 is positive this side, taking to this other side is going to be negative. So it's going to x is equals to negative 6, or x is equals to negative 1. Okay, so this should be our values for what? Of x. Okay, you can check them, guys. You can check them if they are true for the equation. If they are true for the equation, you can just check them. Instead of x here, you just put in the value of x, and then you just solve to see if they are equal. If they are not equal, but one should be true to the equation, one cannot be true, but the other one should be true. So then, yeah, that should be our answer for this radical. Thank you, guys. See you on the next one.